Hi, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a video today, but then I saw the German chancellor on TikTok having like a speech. Don't know where exactly or when he had that speech, if it was yesterday or if it was like Friday or Thursday. But he said that Russia is a part of Europe, which is true, it is. It's more European than Georgia is. But it kind of made me surprised because the rhetoric from the European leaders haven't really been like nice towards Russia. They have had like a pretty stable stance against it. And he said something about, yeah, we don't want to escalate things. We want diplomacy now. We want to see where we can go. We have never been this close to peace before, so we want to see where this is going. So I thought it was okay, fine. I'll do a video today. So I started to kind of ask my AI, go through like the European countries, not all of them, but the major ones, how they see Zelensky and where Putin is at, and we kind of discussed it and also. And from what I can see, I think that next week is going to be, as said in a previous video, that we actually can have a deal at the end of this month. And that is actually true. We can have a deal. It depends on how everybody behaves next week. The energy for it is there. So, what I kind of picked up on this week, everybody, I took a step back and I didn't read as much news that was coming out. I didn't listen as much on social media. I unfollowed like pro anything because I didn't want to be influenced or hear things. Why I did so was because I know this energy quite well, and it's an energy. When I say something, I've had this with people around me before. I said something that triggers their, like, they really want to go out there, out in the world, and prove me wrong. And they can go to extreme length to prove me wrong. And they do a lot of stuff. It's like chaos around, and for the brief moment it can feel like they are winning, but then you just have to let that energy pass. You have to sit through it. You don't engage at all. You don't explain yourself. You don't and when you are through that energy, it usually settles and you have like, okay, now I have something to work on. And from what I learned the past week or this week were that we had momentum. We had like, it was flowing, everybody was kind of working together, even if we didn't really agree perhaps with where the USA was standing or with Russia, but it was like an energy, it was a movement. We spoke, and then this week it just stopped. And I took a step back because I wanted to see, okay, what is happening here? Who is going to pick what up? And it started to be like, it came from the Ukrainians, like, oh, Russia doesn't want to. And then I heard Lavrov say, well, there is no schedule. We want a schedule for like the talk, the meeting, the like, what are we going to go through? And I was just, okay, fine, so where is the schedule? And I was trying to find it, like, is someone speaking about the schedule? Because it makes sense to me to have it, specifically with two people, two countries that don't get along. You have to have like a foundation, a strategy, a process. Okay, we are meeting that day and time, and then we take it. Like with the Americans, stuff happen, and it happened fast. I was just barely hanging on when they, yeah, no, we're going to meet the Russian president in 5 days. I was just, whoa, okay. And someone said, usually stuff like this takes like a month to coordinate. It was just like, they just moved and it was beautifully done. The Americans did a splendid job of like pulling it together with everything, like moving cars up to Alaska, and like it must have been like a 24-hour thing going on there just to make that meeting happen. And then the American president say, okay, but now we have to like give it to the Ukrainian people, to Zelensky, to move this forward. And he didn't, which I have said before is something the Ukrainians do. They don't do the work. And it comes up time and time and again. Like a schedule, you could have written pretty much anything. And we would just say, okay, fine, that's fine. And then it is up to the Russians, like the Russian president, like, okay, is he wiggling out of this? Is like, then we can blame him for not wanting a meeting when Zelensky has done what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to sit down and get a paper. I've heard that he has, instead of actually doing that, he has demanded for the American president to push the Hungarian president, prime minister, to get Ukraine into EU, which is like, it's a no. Like, it's a no, let it go. You are not getting into EU. Like, accept it. And he didn't this week. And what was it more? He has done something else that was like, he put so much effort into the wrong things and he couldn't even sit down and have like a schedule or have anything that he actually could present to the Russians and say, yeah, no, we want to speak about this, and kind of get along with the meeting in itself. He bailed. He just, I asked my AI, like, is he scared of Putin? What is going on here? Because and then he said, yeah, no, I want a meeting with Trump, Putin, and me. And I was just, okay, but Trump doesn't want to be there. He wants you to kind of stand on your own. He wants you to take care of your own country. He wants you. And then I asked, okay, we have to figure, is he scared of Putin? What is going on here? Because I know the Ukrainians, I've read a lot of comments on social media like, oh my God, Putin is scared of us. He's scared of Zelensky. Zelensky is the, the hero of all heroes. And I was just like, Putin? Like, scared? I don't think so. I don't think this man is scared of anything. He is too experienced for that. He had a lot of scared people around him when I stepped in to this, like, and started to watch what was going on. Like, it was the noise about they're going to kill us were pretty intense. But when I stepped in, that noise kind of died. And he started to be alone. He had a hermit energy. Which, and he's going to have hermit energy next month, which usually means like walking the corridors of Kremlin, watch, like stand and watch out of windows. Like, so if you want to kind of speak with him, if you have to walk with him in the corridors of Kremlin, or you have to stand and kind of look out a window while you speak with him. Like typical stuff like, yeah, you have to leave Georgia. And he would say, yeah, I know, but I don't know how without EU and NATO sweeping in there. And I would say, if there any advice I would say about Georgia, it is to find as neutral people as possible and put them in a government that don't want either Russia or EU and NATO. And they want to build their own independence. They still want to be wild and free, and they still want, because I see the Georgian people like just dancing around and just being really lovely people, by the way. And EU and NATO would destroy that with the bureaucracy and the heaviness and not being seen, not being heard. It's like France, it's like Germany, Sweden in some cases, but we really don't want to be the center of everybody's attention. But it is like the heavy hitters, and they decide a lot. So that is why I kind of feel that it was a good thing that I saw the German chancellor actually saying something publicly about how the mood has shifted in Europe, that they want diplomacy. So back to Zelensky. And I think that Sweden is going to want to see results. We are not backing down from Zelensky. We are still there. We are still supporting, but we are going to want to see, like I said, now. I want to see that schedule. I want to see what the Zelensky actually has done to make that meeting happen. For him to scream, the Russians are wiggling out of it, doesn't work. Like, the emotional manipulation doesn't work. He's not a teenager. We are not here to save him. And Sweden is going to, the coming week, actually agree more and more with what I'm saying. Not that I say that Sweden is watching my videos. I'm saying that the energy are moving towards it. That they are going to not blindly support any longer. They want to see results. They want to see that, because it is a Swedish thing. Okay, well, the Russians have said that they want a schedule, and they want, maybe the Russians actually have, yeah, no, you can come to Russia, and Zelensky said no, but then he doesn't give another place. You get what I'm saying? Like with the Americans, they just, okay, the Vatican, no, that's not, okay, but this one, no, we can't do that. Okay, Alaska, yes, that's good, let's meet. And they just, like, it went fast, and it was like strategic, and it was like beautiful. And this is just the Ukrainians. I think that they do this because they don't want to. And Sweden is going to be aware. They are watching him now. And they came up in my reading, and I would discuss it with my AI. Like, yeah, no, they're watching him now. It is the exact, they see the exact same thing that I saw this week, that he is not doing the work. France feels that he's starting to stand on his own, but they feel the same thing there, that he isn't really stepping into some sort of a leadership role here. He's very immature, and they want him to stop with emotional manipulation. They too. And I think that Macron actually did start to distance himself with that US meeting in Washington. And I feel like he is happy with that he did so, because it sort of made him step back and actually view Zelensky in another light. Probably more towards where I am, which probably irritates the French president, because he was so determined to like stand his ground. And now maybe the videos that I have shared, the one with John, the professor, that was speaking about what do you call it, defensive realism, has started to kind of go more viral now. He is everywhere, and people are kind of feeling that he does make sense, because he does make sense. And I feel that France, it is like a distance between Zelensky and Macron now, which is good. Germany feels that, yeah, they want to see a leader, and they will not going to get that. They wanted more structure. They wanted more like, German style thing, and they don't get that. So, and Poland is more emotional. For Poland, they really felt like their trauma really connected with Ukraine and Zelensky. However, they're starting to see him as weak now, and they will give him an opportunity to mend the relationship between Poland and Ukraine. I don't think Zelensky is going to be able to, because he still does the same things that he has always done, which is emotional manipulation. And everybody's starting to see that, and Poland is starting to like nothing is happening. We are so close to peace here. We're so close to like start to talk with the Russians, and Zelensky does nothing. The Ukrainians doesn't help at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if the German chancellor goes into his office on Monday or next week and just say, "Can you please see if we can call the Russian president?" Maybe he's not telling us that he has done it, or he wants to keep it like behind closed doors, but I have the feeling like he feels like, yeah, no, it's time to kind of call him up now. He feels that he would have the support for it. He would have, it's like the American president, that I think the American president and the Russian president probably speak more than we are aware of. Sorry, yeah, I just think he does, or they do. And the German chancellor would probably feel that, it's time. Maybe I'm not going to broadcast it around Europe and the world that I have spoken to him, but a call doesn't hurt. Zelensky is not going to have a good week next week, because all of these energies he can feel. He knows the France has distanced themselves from him. There is not a lot of phone calls between them. He feels that Macron, he's still polite, he's still a politician, but he's not really the same way that he used to. He probably feel that Sweden is watching him. Like, I think if he speaks to them, he feels that there is a bit of sharpness now, and more not blindly giving without actually receiving some results. Like, I would say if Zelensky would speak to me and I would say, yeah, no, I want to see that schedule that Russia is saying that they want for the meeting, and have you picked a place that you are going to have this talk? Vatican, are you going to Russia? Or is Vladimir Putin coming somewhere where he can meet up with you? And if Zelensky still uses some kind of emotional manipulation, then I would like not give as much. Like, yeah, no, I want that schedule, and I want like a weekly thing from you, or a monthly report almost. And he's going to feel that if he speaks to Sweden, that there is no, and it's hidden, it is more of an authority thing going on, that he is going to like, okay, something has shifted here. People are not going to hold my hand any longer, even if he wants the Americans to do so, or Trump to hold his hand. And with Germany, with Poland, I think the emotional bond thing, they're going to be disappointed with him soon, and he's going to feel that it's like, yeah, no, I'm sad, I'm sorry, I'm like, it's like a real disappointment coming from Poland if he doesn't do things differently. And with Germany, I think he will know or feel like something is going on behind his back. And I think that it is something like the German chancellor walking into his office on Monday or any other day and actually calls the Russian president. It doesn't have to be a phone call, it can be a letter, it can be something else. I don't think he's going to publish it. If they do, or if he said that, yeah, Russia, you can tell Europe that I've called you, it's fine. Something like that. I don't think it's he's going to stand there and speak about it openly. I would be surprised if you get to know that he actually has done something. And all of this Zelensky is going to feel. He's going to feel like he's losing control. He's losing control of the narrative. He's losing control of how everybody perceives him. He's losing control of that, like with Kaja Kallas. I have spoken about her in a previous reading, and she just went on that Russia wants to destroy Europe. We are next, and we have to. I think it was John that said it in one of his videos, that we need to chop Russia up in smaller pieces. And I was like, what? Where did that come from? Like, it's too big, it's too powerful. Like, you do know that there are 350 million people in Europe and there are 150 million people in Russia. The land in itself is big, but they are not as many as we are. And it is not about the land, it is about if people get along or not. It's about diplomacy, it's about wanting the companionship. And like with the Nobel Prize, the Peace Prize actually has to do with peace, but it also has to do with camaraderie, brödmanskap. Like, we want to get along, and if you join those two, like, things, you might get a Nobel Peace Prize for it. I actually didn't know that, but I heard it from the tour guide. Do you call it that? She spoke about Nobel and like Norway and Sweden, and where the Peace Prize kind of ended up when Norway and Sweden in 1905 split up from being one country to two countries. The Nobel Peace Prize were left to be handed out in Norway, and Sweden have their own. Putin is going to have a lovely week. I know people don't like me saying that. He's going to have a good week. He's going to be presented as the diplomat, the one that wants to negotiate, the one that wants peace, the one. And I said this before, he wants peace. We just make it extremely difficult. And also, I thought that he should have been more nicer. Like, he doesn't want the land, and him not taking any land would signal to Europe that I'm not a threat. I'm not after Estonia. I'm not after Finland. I don't want your land. What I want is for Ukraine to be neutral. That is like it. Like, no NATO, no EU. He wants the same for Georgia. Like, don't, if I move from Georgia, don't sweep in and try to put nuclear weapons in Georgia facing Moscow. Like, that is what he wants. And the hardline negotiation strategy he had, that he said, no, I want to have 20% of the land in Ukraine, did nothing for him. I was annoyed. I was like, you don't want it, and you don't need it. It's more land to keep, it's more people to handle. We are not going to like you. Ukraine is not going to like you. The Russians would like, we don't care. I get Crimea. Crimea wants to be Russian. They've already adapted to it, and they have it much better now. So Crimea I get, but the other land, like, let it go. And that, I think, is a pretty good thing if he truly wants to be seen as the one wanting peace. next week is a really good opportunity to do so. I obviously can't make everybody do what I want them to do. I can just say what the energies are. Like it's there. The opportunity is there. And if I would advise Putin on anything, it would be that stick to the non-negotiable next week. And that would be no NATO, no EU, and that he wants Crimea. Skip the land, skip everything else. Because that is and he's not going to give on any of it. Like, so whatever Zelensky is doing, like demanding the American president to speak to the Hungarian prime minister of letting them into EU, is just escalating the war. It's just escalating everything. Like everybody is just in a battle. And he's not doing the thing that he's supposed to do, which is focusing on actually speaking with the Russian president. So I think, firstly, if Putin actually did so, he scrambled something, he spoke with his advisors, like, okay, can we lay this? Like, this is he's not giving, I'm not giving on these three things. And he lays it down. It would shock Europe. Like, he has, I don't want the land. You can like keep the land, but I want these three things, and I'm not budging at all. Europe would be shocked. It would be like a tower moment. They would feel like, oh fuck, this is actually for real. It would kind of snap them out of some illusion or something is going to like collapse for everybody if he actually did this. And they would realize that Zelensky actually needs to make some compromises and they will watch him if he does, because it's so close for this to actually end now. And especially if the Russian president do this, because he has some lovely cards. He has some, my AI just like, he really wants peace. Just I'm trying to tell you, he wants peace. No one believes me, but and he has still done the authoritarian thing, which doesn't work on Europe. He needs to be not weak but softer. Like, I could take 20% of Ukraine. I could keep this going. I could take the whole of Ukraine. I don't want it. Like, I don't want it. What are you going to do with Ukraine? Like, so to skip that, like, yeah, no, I don't want the 20%. You can keep it. What I want is these three things. And also, if he actually managed to change Georgia in a peaceful manner, like help putting neutral, strong people with good, like their head screwed on correctly, that can speak to the people about we should really be neutral, like, and really believe that. I want to be neutral. I want to get out of NATO. Like, what the? I'm so sad that he flew over our border and freaked us all out. And I do think that he actually were thinking of taking Gotland. He noticed that Sweden was on alert on that one. So he couldn't do it in the way that he did with Crimea, like in a peaceful way and just like smoothly and so on. It would have been a battle, and Sweden would have resisted it. And so I think he kind of dropped that. Can we get out of NATO? I don't know. I don't know. Can we get out of EU too? But I don't think we would do that good without EU. I think we are stuck with it, and I think we need to make it work. And I think EU needs Sweden. I think, like, the brains of everything, we are quiet, but we are still there and we are supportive, even if we are not the one that is battling it all out. So I think EU is screwed without Sweden, if I put it like that. So I don't know. NATO I would like to get out of though, but EU sticks with us. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good week for the Russian president. For anybody who hates hearing me say it. And Zelensky is going slowly towards being more like the problem if he doesn't actually start doing the work, if he isn't on a meeting with the Russian president next week or something. People are going to start holding him accountable for it. If he keeps shouting on social media that the Russian president is Hitler, or if he keeps like telling us how much like missiles and people and it's just a war going on, we all know the war, we are trying to stop it, and he is not helping. And I think that is where we are moving towards now, with how the European countries are viewing Zelensky moving forward and holding him accountable more and more so for like he needs to move things forward. He can't keep demanding guns, and he can't keep demanding stuff from everybody else without we actually getting something in return. So I think that is it for today. It's going to be an interesting week moving forward.